What's up, everybody? We are live and direct. Doggie Diamonds TV, YouTube. We're on here right now. I got a special guest that's always with me on here, but we're going to build on something that's very, very important to get away from the whole hip-hop entertainment thing that's been going on. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hakim Green, Channel Live, Live and Direct, BDP, all day, every day. All we do is spark mad wisdom.
The newly married Hakim Green. Let's add that.
Yeah, big shout out to my wife, Miss Jasmine Nunez Green. Yeah, we got married 2 weeks ago on February 3rd on my birthday. So yeah, salute, thank you, appreciate it.
So we have to throw that. Hakim, not like he wasn't off the market before, but he's like officially off the market. Like even if he's on paper now, you know what I'm saying? He's on paper.
Yeah,
so,
they're not checking for me like that. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. So very, very important topic. Dealing with the month that we're in right now. We're actually in the 19th day in February, which is my favorite month because my born day is February 25th, which is this Saturday coming right here.
Luke, happy birthday.
Yeah. So this month is the shortest month of the Gregorian calendar. It's the shortest month. And also, it has a leap year every 4 years. But this month also is Black History Month.
Yeah.
Which started out as Black History Week, as we know. And my question to you, let's just get, if you want to, give them a little brief history on the origin of Black History Month.
Black History Month was founded by Carter G. Woodson. In 1926, his first Negro History Week. He wrote the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, where it was his contention that history being that missing piece to our progress, our self-esteem, kind of the cornerstone of us as a people, was missing. So we should take time to reflect upon history, the importance of Black people, Negroes, African Americans, however we want, define them now, describe them now. And that would go a long way for reinforcing our self-esteem. So that's what I get from the importance of Black History Month, African American History Month, Negro History Week, whatever you want to call it.
It started as a week though, right? It wasn't a month.
It started as a week. It wasn't a month. But you got considering the time period, the historical context, what was going on, him being able to establish a week, even a day at that point, was something that was monumental. Even if he could have just got off Negro History Day, just a day that, the nation, Black, white, whoever says, okay, this is the time that we pay respect to these people. I think that's monumental and historic.
So at this particular time, 1926, if I'm not mistaken, the Depression was about to come up and all that. So this was some critical times in American history. Financially, definitely was crazy racial times, but financially, America was doing really bad.
Slavery ended 1865.
Yeah.
The Emancipation Proclamation was at 1863. The Civil War was 1863 to 1865. I don't know the exact dates, but you figure 1865 to 1920, you're talking about 60 some odd years, almost 60 years. That's one lifetime.
Yes.
That's one lifetime away from slavery. You still got Jim Crow going on. You got really slavery was such an embedded part of the South and a lot of the North in terms of the way the system was situated. That 1926, we're still dealing with slavery, slave conditions. Our people are second-class citizens. So just the fight for the identity, the fight for carving out an identity, saying Negro, we got problems with whether it's Negro, Black, or African American. Just to be able for us to say, okay, this is our time. This is we're gonna pay respect to what we're doing. I think that's huge and monumental.
So right now, it's Black History Month. I think Trump was trying to change the name to something, right? What was he fucking doing? That maniac.
I think he was grandstanding. There's a lot of Negroes in America right now that's jumping on the Trump bandwagon for whatever case they are, and they hopping on his bandwagon. I think that was a really it was a media move just to say he's doing something without really doing anything.
Okay.
Like what does that really mean? You change the name of Black History Month to African American History Month. How does that really affect the bottom line to our community? It really doesn't. But it's something that they can do in the media to say he's doing something. That's what my assumption is.
So let's get into that real quick. Should it be if because we'll get into whether it should be abolished in a second. That's going to be the ending of the conversation. But will you admit that it is a difference between African American history and Black history?
I see that like as we go on, there's these.
I think you got something in your nose too. Do your nose, man.
My man. See,
yeah,
the homie look out for me. Good luck.
Because I don't want them to be like, yo, the whole live stream, he had a big ass bullshit in his nose.
You know what I mean? Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. All right, cool.
Can I get a sandy white, babe? You want?
Yeah.
Look a brother up.
Yeah.
So, what was your question? So
it's the difference between African American.
Like there's different perspectives, right? And we went from Negro, black, or Negro to colored to black to African American, right? And then there's these different reasonings why we should call ourselves Black, why we should call ourselves African American, why we should call ourselves Moors, why we should call ourselves all these different. And for me personally, like it's all the same thing. Like there's a bottom line. There's a level of understanding between you and I as a man in terms of our experience in this world, a condition, a shared history. Even if we don't call it African American, we call it Black. I understand who we're talking about and what history I'm talking about that connects us. I try not to get into, well, we're Black, we're African. Well, if you're not from Africa, you can't call yourself African American. Well, majority of the Black people in America aren't really from Africa. We were already here. Like I kind of hear all those different understandings. I get it. I understand it. But when you say any one of those terms, I know who you're talking about, and that's my people.
So my believing is reason why it should be Black History Month and not African American history, because African American is dealing with the Americas and being in America.
Gotcha.
When you speak about Black history, that's when you can go into other people like Haile Selassie and different people around the globe that are Black people, and every Black person. We have Black people on every continent all around that did great things. Because when you talk about Mansa Musa and you talk about different people, that's not African American history. That's Black history. So I think it should be a universal name where Black people need to learn about our people on a broad spectrum, but not just the people in America, people around the globe. Because when you deal with Black people in America, it's I think it kind of puts us in the box, because a lot of times they don't get to know that Mansa Musa was the richest person that was a Black man ever in the history of the world.
Right.
So that's not African American, and he doesn't come from. We wasn't a slave and all these things. You understand what I'm saying? So,
touching on that, like, so back in the 90s when I was a school teacher, one of my boys, Hassan Sharif, another one of my boys, Rodney Jackson, just coming up during the late 80s, being inspired by PE and KRS-One and X-Clan. We really got into our history as Black people, as African Americans, right? And for us, like our history didn't start with slavery. Like the history that we're given through the school system is, it starts at slavery. If you're born a slave, you're always going to be a slave. Yes. Like that's just it, right? So for us, it was about, okay, what was our lineage prior to slavery, what we were doing, and the direct connect with Africa was Western Africa, because the majority of the slaves that came from Africa came from the west coast of Africa. So when you get into what made West Africa so great, Ghana, Songhai, Timbuktu, all these great civilizations that predate Europe by hundreds of years, and you understand the Moorish influence in Western Africa and its influence in raising up Europe and providing the foundation for Europe to have a civilization. You understand that, well, we weren't slaves or made slaves because we were ignorant and dumb. We were made slaves because we were the best the planet had to offer.
Yes.
So as African Americans, our lineage, that coupled with the indigenous people that were already here, we come from a great people, and that history needs to be studied. It needs to be turned over. It needs to be fought over. It needs to be debated over. So we can get to the hard truths of who we are, not just in our greatness, but also in our weaknesses, so we don't replicate it. So, like, no matter what angle you take it, for me, it's still all the same thing. Like, there's a huge debate with with the indigenous people in America versus the our indigenous beginnings in Africa, and all our Black people in America really from Africa. Did we come over during the slave trade? And to me, I think there's some truth to that, but the bottom line is irrelevant because we still have that shared experience of oppression,
Yeah.
of attack. Our land being taken from us,
Our language,
culture being
everything.
taken, our language being taken from us, everything being taken. A lot of it survives, through our subcultures and the way we just flip and bounce shit as Black people, But again, that's another connection of unity. I don't care if you from, if you an indigenous person from Wisconsin or you an indigenous person from the Cameroon. You have a way of taking the natural element and flipping it, bouncing it, making it something greater. And even in looking at that history of Mansa Musa, his uncle, they said, was one of the first Africans to travel over from Africa to the Americas prior to Christopher Columbus and all that, right? And you see different artifacts, African artifacts that are in the Americas that could have only come by way of trade between Africas and the Americas. You see the pyramid building. You see, it's so much about indigenous culture and indigenous civilization that's the same essence. Like when you look at Dr. John Henry Clark raises a great point about Europe and its greatness, or compared to Africa, right? Is that when you look at Egypt, how do white people say white people build Egypt? Why would you leave Europe where you're from to go build something great somewhere else? Like, where's your evidence that, like, when you look at the greatness of the pyramids, you see the pyramids in the interior of Africa, in Central Africa, in the Cameroon. You see how the pyramids got better. You see where they made their mistakes. You see when there's a bent pyramid, so they had to go back and do it over. Like, they say that the aliens made the pyramids. Like, that's totally illogical, because we have evidence of the progress of pyramid building. Like, that evidence is already, that's why study African History Month, Black History Month is so important, because they will take your history from you and say the aliens.
Flip it and bounce it. Yeah.
The aliens did it.
No, they're going to give it to everybody but us. So let's get right into it. At this particular time, 2017, do you believe that Black History Month should be done away with? Because reason why we're raising this question, let me let the room and the people, because a lot of times people read the titles and they just go straight off the title and they want to answer the title, but they don't partake and listen to the dialogue and why we're having the dialogue and why we're asking these questions and why we're raising this question. This question is being raised because we see this sentiment from a lot of people saying that, oh, Black History Month is stupid. Why do we have a Black History Month? Every day should be Black History, blah, 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 blah. So this is not me and Hakim's particular point of view of this. This is not what we feel. We're talking about, and this question is coming from the sentiments of many people via the social networks, via Facebook, via out in the streets. People are talking about Black History Month, and there's some people who don't agree with it, and then some people who do agree with it. So we're just speaking now from our perspective of what we feel about it. So to answer the question, what do you think about Black History Month? Should it be canceled? Why shouldn't it be, and why should it be? If depending on your answer.
I definitely think that Black History Month, African American History Month, Negro History Week, whatever you want to call it, is a necessity. Like, we can't do away with it. We should keep it in February. I mean, it's my birthday, but you know, I'll ride with that. But you know, it's the beginning of the year. It marks something very special for us as a people. I love seeing the NBA put on the African American Black History Month tribute shirts. I love that. I love watching The View and them every day having a Black History Month fact. Now, you know, The View, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and others, that's a huge crossover mainstream show. And we've gotten Black history to the point where on probably the most mainstream show on TV during the month of February, they're going to mention a Black history fact every single day.
Also on Doggie Diamonds TV, every day of Black history, I've given you somebody to look up on doggiediamondstv.com. I just wanted to add that there's no other websites is doing that. Every day I gave you somebody different.
Salute. That's why, you know, I fucks with my brother right here, because, you know, as street as he is as knowledgeable as he is, and down for our people. And that's important. And I think, like Malcolm X said, that of all subjects, history is the most qualified to be studied, right? Or to reward all study. History is of all subjects, history is the most qualified to reward all study. That's the quote, right? And that's important, man, because you get so much that you can do, but you get so much that you shouldn't do. Like, all the lessons are there for us. Like, you study Malcolm and Martin, you see how COINTELPRO set up our leaders to be against each other. So you don't replicate the same mistake. You know what I'm saying? If you study Harriet Tubman, you see that there's a lot of strength in our women. And sometimes we need our women to kick us in the ass.
And I do want to add something about Harriet Tubman. The biggest lesson that I learned from Harriet Tubman is what applies today. What she said at her time was she would have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves. Woo. And I'm saying that to say, and that's a big quote that goes over people's head. I'm saying that to say, in the times that we're in, and we're giving these information to people, and we're trying to, help people become more politically aware, conscious of what's going on. A lot of people don't feel the need to know these things. And when it comes a point when you need to know it, you don't know it. And you're going to be like, oh shit, like, damn, I should have known it. But by that time, the train is gone. That's why it was called the Underground Railroad. Yeah. The train was moving. If you ain't get on the train was going to move regardless.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And this is what we're saying in a situation with a lot of our people right now. A lot of our people are easily blinded. That it's your fault what you receive, but you can't blame them for giving it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like we like to say, you got the clean glass of water and you got the dirty glass of water. Whatever you decide to drink, that's really on you. Now, you know what I'm saying?
Now, to that point, right? You know, a lot of us aren't involved in politics and don't really pay attention to what's going on politically in government, right? So there's been a major move in Texas where a lot of the textbooks, the public school textbooks around the country, the actual producers of these textbooks are based in Texas, right? So the government in Texas is very conservative Republican, have been trying to soften the description of slavery. They've been trying to make slavery seem like it wasn't really that bad. Like they're trying to bend history in their favor so they don't look bad. You see what I'm saying? And
that's called rewriting history.
It's called rewriting history. Yeah, so they call them indentured servants. Thank you. That's it. The woman.
Yeah, because it is a difference between chattel and indentured slavery.
Right. You know, they want to really soften what slavery was for us to make it seem not so bad. You know, and he who controls history controls the present and the future.
Yo, you know, it's funny, Hakim. I was maybe about in 4th grade, and I asked my teacher, "What's the difference between a maid and a slave?" And she couldn't answer me, but I just wanted to know, because as a child, I was, always just very inquisitive. We know the difference now because one of them, can fucking leave if they want, and one of them couldn't. But all right, now we're at a particular time. What do you think about the people? Now, let me answer the question. I do believe that African history, African American history is very important. Black history is important. Again, like you said, whatever title we want to put in it, but we do have to take into consideration that it is a difference between uh, Black history and African American history. I rather it all go under Black history because that covers all ground. Because when you say African American, then you start, putting certain things in a box, and they don't want you to know universal Black history, because then you'll know that you don't come. Your history didn't start with slavery. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I think Trump is trying to put the African American thing on you, because the African American thing has a timeline. When it comes to Black history, there is no timeline on that.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what I believe. But
I got you. I see.
What I want to say is I believe that is very important. I believe that it should be taken more serious. I think that it should be highlighted even more. I think that curriculums should be really focused on this month, because I know you have, in your own independent studies, you can take classes like African American studies, African American history. You could take those things. But if you're gonna have Black History Month, everything else should be canceled out. It should be, this is the month. It's 12 months. Every month, every day is white history. We see white history every day. And if this is going to be a month dedicated to Black history, it needs to be all about Black history. All the programming on TV, the music, everything, because our history is so rich. Rest in peace to Clyde Stubblefield. You know what I'm saying? Like our history is so rich if we're gonna deal with the Americas, because when you deal with the Americas, when you deal with people like Madam C.J. Walker and Benjamin Banneker and George Washington Carver, these are the people that are the inventors of some of these gadgets and the things that we use every day, and that's not known. From, they said Jack Johnson invented the wrench. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and we just know him for being a boxer, knocking everybody the fuck out. But our history is deeper than that. So I think if it's going to be a month, then give us the month and shut everything else down. In the educational system, when January 31st or 30th, I don't know how many days it is, but pardon me, when that hits, when that Feb first hit, give it that 28 days and the 29 on leap year of just strictly that. Don't put nothing else in there. Let them know that us Black people invented the sciences and mathematics. You know what I'm saying? So if you're teaching math, let all of that be known. It should be more Kemetic history being taught, because I know in school as a child, Greek and Roman mythology was a part of the curriculum. That was, you had to know that. And I knew that shit like the back of my hand. That's why I love Clash of the Titans. I love that movie. I love all of the Hercules. I love all of those movies, because as a child, I was indoctrinated with Greek and Roman mythology.
That's
but
right.
When it came to them teaching us Egyptian mythology, I didn't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know, and it was kind of hard to understand. And then when you start learning about, Kemetic sciences and Egyptian mythology, in that, you start realizing how many things was really plagiarized from it. So that's why they didn't want you to know that, because then you start learning the truth, and then you start learning that, hold up, so our history started before the good ship Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You start learning it's something before Columbus, and there's a book out there I advise everybody to read called "They Came Before Columbus."
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? You have to read these books. You have to.
Ivan Van Sertima.
Yeah, it's Ivan Van Sertima, the great Ivan Van Sertima. And you have to, and this is what I'm saying, when you start dealing with people like damn, I want to say his name, but I can't think of it. West Indian brother, Tony
Browder.
It's not Tony Browder. He was but anyway, it's gonna come to me like 3:00 in the morning when it doesn't matter. The point I'm making is that a lot of the teachers and a lot of the elders weren't always like African America. You have people who from different places around the world that came to teach in the United States. It was teaching you your history. We have people alive today like the great Robert Mugabe. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
gangster. You have people that know how.
Marcus Garvey's a great example.
Yeah,
Marcus Garvey's
exact. Perfect. Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect. We could
from
say that. Yeah,
Jamaica.
perfect example. He's from
Oh, yeah.
Jamaica. So at the end of the day, we have people that are from around the world, from other countries, I should say, that came here to teach us. So the situation that we're having is that when they teach us about us, they want to say, well, we brought y'all here, and like Hakim is saying, wasn't that bad. We brought y'all here, we fed y'all, we clothed y'all, and we freed y'all eventually and gave y'all equal rights. And that's Tony Martin. Thank you, brother. Tony Martin. That's who I'm talking about. Tony Martin. Um, we gave you equal rights, and that's not what happened. So, Doggy Diamond's opinion, no, African American history, Black history, Moorish history, uh, 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 all of those things, that a lot of the people like to go under indigenous. I always fuck that word up.
That's
History
good.
need is a necessity, and it actually should be broadened. It actually should be 2 months. It
Yeah.
should be every day of your life if
It
you're a
should be
black man, woman, or child.
it should be broad and it should be intensified. It should be something that we take upon ourselves just to get into, and not to be braggadocious about it, or we don't have to debate and have arguments. But very similarly to what Jewish people do, they have temple, they have synagogue, they have they have a study, and they have a rites of passage connected to that study. There's different sects of Jews, there's different philosophies and different, like, they don't always have to fight out in public to be on the same accord when it comes to that shared history, that shared community, the shared ritual, shared tradition. Like, all that's important, and it's something that's just like, you do it just because you do it. It's not like a big rah-rah thing. It's just our lifestyle. Like the KRS-One, I of course, that's my mentor. Big shout out to him, Chuck D, X-Clan, Tribe Called Quest, Native Tongue, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, Wise Intelligent, Poor Righteous Teachers,
Brand
Brand
Nubian,
Nubian. Like,
Lakim
it was
Shabazz,
Rakim Allah. It was
Lakim Shabazz.
Lakim Shabazz,
You can't
Jersey,
forget your Jersey brother, yeah.
Jersey in the building, no doubt.
King's son,
King's son. You had,
Devon Stoller.
Von Stoller, world famous Supreme Team.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
there was it was street.
Big
It
Daddy
was
Kane, Big Daddy Kane, Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane.
Don't forget
Just
Kane.
Ice.
Just Ice, yes, yes.
Like, there was in the culture was culture. Like, what we was doing in the street reflected who we were. And that, for me, propelled me, my two other friends, like I was talking before, Act Now, African Children of Tomorrow Now. I met KRS-One taking students to go hear him lecture when he was doing Human Education Against Lies. That's what the conversation was when me and Chris met. Wasn't even on records. It was about knowledge, wisdom, understanding, history, how hip hop culture is Black culture, and what we're gonna do to protect it. Like, that was the conversation, and it was so just much of. It wasn't no big thing. This is just what we was doing. It was a part of the culture. It would be nice to see that come back, where young folks embrace who they. And I actually do see it coming back. I see, like, the nappy hair is real popular. You know what I'm saying? Young folks is real more cultural with their clothing and their gear. Some of it's a little crazy, but they're reaching out and reaching in, and we got to make sure that we create the systems that support their identity, or they're not gonna know what to do. They're gonna be looking for their oppressor for the answer, and you can best believe the oppressor got mad answers. Might not have the answer, but he got answers. So we got to combat that.
My grandmother taught me something as a child, because when I was a little dude, I was, kind of crazy and shit on Waverly Avenue. And my grandmother taught me something. She said, there's two places that they always gonna have room for you. And I said, where? She said, in jail or the morgue.
Whew.
They'll always make room for you.
Yeah, they will.
They might not have room for you in certain schools. They might not have room for you on the bus or the train, but the morgue and jail, they always make room for you. And that shit always stuck with me and made me say, I don't want to be in jail or the morgue. But I'm saying all that to say, at this particular time, when it comes to Black History Month, how can we take back the control of the month, because I don't think we control it. I don't think we're controlling the narrative of what Black History Month is. How can we take back the control? Because this is my problem. If we're not going to control the month and the narratives that's put out there to the masses, then why have it?
Right. I think we do control the month. We don't realize we control it. We control much more than just a month too, when it comes to our issues, right? And I say that to say, like this, like yourself, your vehicle, your platform, there's a bunch of other platforms out there, right, that are pushing the narrative and the conversation where we don't see the effect until like 3, 4, 5 years later. But I see where it comes from. And I'm going to give a big shout out to 125th Street in Harlem, right? Because as much
Dissension right
controversy that comes from that community, our community is really dictating the conversation in the mainstream. We just don't see it pick up from the fashion. I seen the committed gear get crossed over, and I see mad jokers in it. I see Nick Cannon catch the Holy Ghost just recently, and now I see Colin Kaepernick. I see mainstream jokers do a lot of things that people told me 10 years ago would never happen, and it has a lot to do with our community, you specifically. You know, I don't even want to get into shouting out, folks. I might leave somebody out, and I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of my people out there that our dialogue and the whole world is watching, but we got to keep it real with ourselves and with everybody else, and steer it, like really steer it,
And
like
stop, and stop letting them also commercialize it and make money off it. Wow. Because I said something on Facebook the other day and Twitter, and it might have went over people's head. And I said, I want to be the righteous teacher that doesn't want to be poor.
I saw that.
Yeah, because that poor righteous teacher, I think a lot of our brothers subscribe to that. And it's very, very, it's a lot of danger in being poor.
Well, let me throw something on there, right? Let me throw something on there. You come in with nothing, you leave with nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
All right. So everything is borrowed time.
Facts.
Okay. So you don't own anything at the end of the day. You only use it. Facts. You want access, right? You want access more than you actually want to control something. Now, we can control a situation for our family members, which we should do, and we can control the situation for generations, which the oppressor seems to have mastered quite well, right? Mm-hmm. But at some time, his time is up, right? All right, so if we could just, I don't want to say exist. It's not exist. It's really work together to really make the system work for us. You can't really own nothing, but you can use everything. So in terms of the poor righteous teacher, you can own nothing and have access to everything because God's kingdom has everything.
Now, let me clarify something, because when people hear the word poor, they automatically think of a monetary thing.
Right.
Poor is a mind state. Poor is also a living condition.
Yes.
Poor is a mental state.
Yes.
Mind state, the same thing. So I believe that when you come from the aspect of somebody who's poor, you know, your health could be poor. That doesn't mean that your health don't have money. That just means that it's failing. So when I say poor, I mean all of the above, including money. Don't think I ain't talking about no bread. I'm talking about bread. But I'm talking about, I don't want to be poor, because sometimes when you're poor, you believe that there's no hope. You know what I'm saying? A lot of poor people, they think that money is going to cure their problems. And then when you get the money, you be like, damn, it was better when I was poor. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm not talking about poor as far as the monetary thing.
It's your mind state.
Yeah, I'm talking about poor. Yeah. Because like I said, when we talk about some of our great lineage and ancestors like the Mansa Musas and many of the pharaohs, they were draped in gold. So they try to make fun of us for wearing gold. You know, I like gold, I like diamonds and all that, you know, hence my name. They try to say, oh, you got this, you got that, but it's like that's a part of our lineage, like, you know, being fly and having gold and jewelry on and all that. You know what I'm saying? That shit is, you know, that shit is fly. You know what I'm saying? And to each his own. But what we do have to realize is that wealth is not everything. The wealth that I want is like somebody said in the chat room, is a peace of mind. That's what's rich to me. The fact that I can get up every day and control my life and my narrative. I control it. Like, for example, I look at somebody like Ali Vegas, somebody that I thought was a good artist, somebody that I remember, but the people don't really remember him or don't know too much about him. So what I like about myself and my platform is I can take somebody that would be deemed irrelevant and make them relevant, because relevancy is just what everybody's talking about. So if I take a interview and it has 300,000 views, that means 300, it was viewed 300,000. That shit is being talked about. The tweets is happening. The Facebook post is happening. The Instagram. That's rich to me.
Exactly.
Being able to control the climate, control the content, control the narratives. That's what I mean by not being poor. Because when you're poor, you're what? You're always begging. You always want. You always need. My richness doesn't come from money only. My richness comes from the fact that I'm able to control what people are talking about. And that's the power. That's the power of media, because that's what media is supposed to do. But a lot of people don't do that with media because they're so busy regurgitating other people's shit.
You've given a lot. Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
You've given a lot, right? And you've planted a lot of seeds. And your seeds bloom and blossom.
Yes.
And you harvest. Poor people a lot of times work from a place of lack. Exactly. And they think they don't have anything to give. And you have, when you know your value, you have something to give. So you're always seeking to give, to put out there, to plant seeds, and your seeds grow and blossoms into fruit. A lot of times we don't recognize the science of that because we don't know our history. We've never seen it done. It's usually people taking things from us more so than us giving is being taken from us. So yes. Things are always being taken from us. We're always looking to take before it gets taken from us.
Let me say something to the chat room real quick. The full Ali Vegas audio is on my SoundCloud. And what I need y'all to do is, if you subscribe to my platforms, then you will know where everything is at. SoundCloud/Doggie Diamonds No Filter. It's also a dope Hakim Green interview on there. It's on the SoundCloud. The full video will be out this week by the time this airs, which is gonna go live after we finish. It's going to be out tomorrow, Monday. I'm working on that. So that's what it is. So the Ali Vegas interview, the audio in its entirety is out right now, but the video will be out Monday, which would be tomorrow. But by the time it's aired, and if you look back on the playback, it'll probably be out by now. But where we're building on right now is what we're talking about, why we kind of got into us personally, because we are a part of Black history. 100 years from now, this particular time is a critical time that's going to be put out there, and everybody's going to look at it, because we have the pre-Trump, the during Trump, and then you're going to have the post-Trump, and how we were affected and how we acted. And I always say this in different platforms: if we don't come to a common ground, then we're all going to get Hakim's favorite line, led to the showers together.
Led to showers. Showers on.
Yeah, showers for everybody. And ain't no soap and water there. and y'all figure that out. So what we're doing right now, this is a part of Black history. This is why we're having this dialogue. So for the people reading the title, who's just coming in, who might not sat for the first 35 minutes of us building, no, we do not believe it should be canceled. No, it absolutely should not be canceled. But it is people that are talking, Black people, that's having the argument. And I think many of them, due to lack of knowledge of self, and many of them of our people are just very, very, very argumentative. Just Black people argue everything, and it's a good and that bad thing. The good thing about it is that you should always ask questions. The bad thing is that we don't ask the right questions to the right people. We don't question the conditions. We just question the conditions of the people that's next to you. So it's almost like being in the bowels of the slave ship and blaming the guy next to you for shitting in the slave ship. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't blame him for shitting in the slave ship. You got to blame the people who kidnapped you. Because I hate to say, made you a slave. No, we're not. We wasn't slave. We were kidnapped victim because slavery was legal.
We were enslaved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're not slaves. We were enslaved.
Yeah, slavery was legal though. So even if you say we were made slaves, there's nothing wrong with that. But kidnap was always illegal.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have to start changing that dialogue and start saying we were kidnapped victims, opposed to saying we were slaves, because slavery wasn't illegal. They didn't do nothing wrong, but kidnap is wrong.
Yeah.
And they did kidnap us.
Yeah, they did.
And so I think it's very, very important that you get to know yourself. And even if you take 11 months of the year and don't know anything about yourself, dedicate this 1 month to yourself while it's out there, why it's being spoken about, why it's being talked about. And at the end of the day, it's so much that's broadcast, like the Christmases, like the Halloweens, like the pagan holidays. This is your holiday now. This is a month about you. This is a month that you can get to know you. This is a month that you get to know that although they were great, the Malcolms, the Martins, the Marcuses, the 3Ms, the Muhammads, whether it's Elijah,
the Megas,
yeah, all the M's, the Megas, the Martins, the Malcolms, the Muhammads, whether it's Ali or Elijah, there was Carter G. Woodson's, there was different people, George Washington Carver's, there was the Nat Turner, that you did learn about through Birth of a Nation, which is also, you have to also understand that some of these are movies that are controlled by the Zionists. Have to be careful,
right?
But it gives you a starting point.
It gives you a starting point.
Yeah, it gives you a starting point.
It gives you a starting point, and because you have the internet, you can hop on the internet, and a lot of the books, the novels, the histories are in PDF form. You can download it for free. I could throw some out there right fast, just off top. The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams.
Yep.
is crazy dope. You have African Origins of Civilization, Myth and Reality by Sheikh Anta Diop. Anything by Sheikh Anta Diop, who's African brother. I believe he's from Kenya. Scientist per excellence. You got
Sex and Race by J.A. Rogers, man.
Sex and Race by J.A. Rogers. You got Walter Rodney, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, which is an awesome book talking about how all the European powers over the colonial period, how they sucked out the resources of Africa and created the conditions that we see left over years afterward. Ivan Van Sertima, we mentioned, they came before Columbus.
One of the brothers said he's from Senegal. Salute.
Senegal, thank you. Appreciate that.
Shout out to Haru.
Who else do we have? I mean, there's
Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben.
Because what's happening, reason why I'm saying that, because what's happening is a lot of our history is getting put into a box where, although we love them, but we have more than the X hats and I Have a Dream speeches. It's way more to us than that. There's people that influence them. You know, get to know about Marcus Garvey. Very, very instrumental. Very, very important. Get to know about Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know, and I don't want many of you to get to know these people based off religion, because we're not trying to give you religion.
Can I jump in right fast?
Go
Just
ahead.
well, I wanted to say this earlier about how sometimes as people we look at things and from a very narrow viewpoint, right? So our frame of reference kind of dictates our opinions. How you feel in your teenage years ain't how you feel in your 20s, how you feel in your 30s, and how you feel in your, you know, it as you grow, get older, you have more experiences, which leads you to a different understanding, right? So in terms of the community and how the community functions with other communities. Like you said, we have the Black community. What's wrong with the Black community? How can we get the Black community to do X, Y, Z? We have to study the history of our community and the different mini communities that make our community. What type of economic systems did we have? What kind of social systems did we have? How was the family preserved? What type of family relationships did we have? Like, there's ways of looking at it that's beyond the right now. That's, you know, how does this benefit me over a long period of time, as opposed to, do I really give a fuck about it right here and now?
Yes. And a lot of our people, you know, I know we all want instant gratification. Everybody wants that. You know, when you go to the dentist and the doctor puts the Novocaine in your gums, it takes a few minutes for it to work. You understand what I'm saying? So, although we've been in certain conditions for a long period of time, and I know many of our people are impatient, so that's why so many people are taking so many shortcuts that are not working. They look good on the surface. They look like, you know, you got there, but it's a lot. The shortcuts really, really hardly ever work.
Yeah.
You know, the camaraderie with one another is what's really going to be what's going to help us all in the end. Because in our ancient times, nobody did it alone. You know, nobody did it alone. And I think it's certain things that was pushed on us, like the YOLOs and you only live once, fuck everybody, fuck bitches, get money. It's so many little cliches and so many sayings that made us selfish.
Yeah.
And that's not African culture, to be selfish and to be say fuck your brother. That's not us as a people. That's something that was taught to us.
That's right.
And we adapting it and we're taking it. That's why I'm so unselfish. You know, I find myself giving every day because I can't, you know, when this is all said and done, I can't take none of this with me. You know, I just can't. You know, energy lasts forever, but the good energy that you leave is what I want to be remembered for. I don't want to be known for, and I don't want to be remembered for being a fucking animal or a savage or something like that. You know, I want to be remembered for giving good energy and helping people. And this dialogue that we have is so important. And I just think a lot of our people have lost a lot of patience with one another. That's the problem. See, patience, none of us have the patience for any fucking thing.
Yeah.
But I do have the patience with my people because it's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all in a very, very tough time, and it's so hard to express ourselves for one another without getting angry. I study and I watch so much. You ever watch a parent with no patience try to do homework with their child? That's the worst shit you can ever see ever.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a child. With children,
yeah,
you have to have the most patience.
You're traumatizing the child.
Yeah.
The child, and for the child, it's becoming a traumatic experience. So now they're building up psychological triggers around the educational process. Like, when you're impatient with the child during the learning process, you're damaging the child beyond what you can ever think.
And I think, you know, I might not be 100% correct, but I think from so many of us coming from broken homes and in destitute situations growing up, it made everything like this. I
Yeah,
wanted, I
man.
wanted, I wanted, I wanted, I wanted.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh man, that's
even when
crazy.
even when you think about the welfare system, um, you couldn't have a man in the house. Think how deep that was. It was, you couldn't get government assistance if you had a man in the house. So money originally broke the black family up.
Mm-hmm.
Think how crazy that is. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
so the New Edition movie,
Yes,
right?
yep.
So in the Facebook commentary, people are going, "Did you notice it wasn't any men in the house during that time?" And people were asking out of, you know, it was a innocent, just wanting to know why there were no men in the house. I'm like, well, if you pay attention, it take place in the housing project.
Yes.
It was the law. You couldn't have a man in the house. You couldn't have nobody with the potential of making money if you're getting government assistance. That can't happen. So that's the government forcing the family apart over generations. But when we don't know our history, when we're not teaching our history to our young folks look back at us and like, yo, y'all was bugging. Y'all ain't had no man in the house. Like, or when we see why our children act the way they do, and we don't want to connect the dots that no, it's because we bought into this nonsense over here.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was basically illegal to have a man in the house. You know, if you wanted help, if you wanted government assistance. But like I said, people are gonna come in the chat room. People are going to look at the title and not listen to the dialogue. And that's what I'm saying to a lot of people. The dialogues that we have and been having and will continue to have is more important than any title. Please take the time out. If you got to open another tab, if you got to do different things while these dialogues are being, you know, because I bet you if we was on here gossiping and talking shit, you would listen for an hour straight. This is the problem. You have to start having a little bit more patience, because I'm pretty sure with some things that we said in here that you can learn something from, and then give you points of references to go
or teach us. If you think we miss out on something, go grab the link, put it in the like post it, put us on some info.
Yes, you know? Because you learn something new every day.
That's right.
And I'm a sponge. So I don't want to hold the people too long, Hakim. I know some people who's gonna want to watch this All-Star game. Me personally,
including me.
Me personally, I don't watch any sports. I used to be the biggest sports fanatic. And then one day I just said, fuck this shit. I do like
you like the Raiders, I see though.
Well, that's the game, you know. That's
okay.
Different.
I got you. Imaging.
You lived on the block, so you should know.
The Raiders
lived on the block. The Raiders is something different. So and I like you said hit you just now, right? Yeah.
Right. That's right.
I do like sports paraphernalia. I do like the togetherness of team. I do like that. But even if we go into sports, dealing with sports, look how the team doesn't mean anything anymore. Dudes will be together for years and say, yo, man, fuck this team. I gotta go get that bag. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the fact that and it you know, shit is deep, and we could build on that another time.
There's like subplots in sports, and the subplots help create the drama, to create the entertainment and the what have you, right? But I'm liking what I'm seeing from a number of professional athletes in terms of them standing up for certain issues around Black people. Yes. Like they're standing up for Black people specifically. I'd like to see it more, but it's happening, and it's happening not only with gestures, but people putting their money down. So that's to be saluted too, you know?
Yeah. And we definitely, you know, salute to Muhammad Ali was like one of the, you know, salute the you know what, the unsung hero that a lot of people forget and don't give any credit to was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf from the Denver Nuggets. And he ended up going to the Sacramento. See, I was a big sports fanatic at one point,
Yeah.
so I know all this. I think he ended up going to the Sacramento Kings, how he ended his career. But he was the first one to sit down and didn't acknowledge the national anthem.
The
And
national.
he was nice. He was Steph Curry before Steph Curry.
Yeah, he was.
And his name was Chris Jackson before he converted to Islam. And he was a fucking beast on the court. He had Tourette syndromes and everything.
Yo, yeah.
Yeah, he had Tourette syndrome. And
that was like today on ESPN. They did a whole hour-long special on him.
Today?
Today, yeah.
Wow. I didn't even. This is what I'm saying. I don't even have cable.
He's coaching. You know, he's doing real well. He's coaching. He's just talking about why he did what he did in the 90s and what it means to, you know, be somebody who stands up for something. And I think what we see going on with LeBron, Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick, Melo, Chris Paul, they all wore the I Can't Breathe shirts for Eric Garner.
Yes.
LeBron had the Miami Heat with the hoodies during the Trayvon situation. You got, you know, jokers is like, you know what? You know, we got to be more than just entertainers and athletes, you know, and they understand their power, and it's a beautiful thing. But I think what we do on the ground level is what makes that type of work happen.
Yes, exactly. No, it's definitely the poor righteous teachers.
Yes, sir.
You know, also it's a rumor. I don't know if you could confirm or deny this. Was King Kong made to clown Jack Johnson? Did you ever hear that before?
I've never heard that before, but it would make sense.
Yeah, like, you know, the big gorilla that loved white women.
Well,
I heard that before.
We're gonna shoot him down.
Yeah, I heard that before. So Hakim, I thank you for your time.
Always, brother.
Who you going for, East or West?
Man, I just want to see a good game, dude. I want to see a lot of dunks, a lot of, you know, it's entertainment. That's all that is. Entertainment.
Yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat room. I thank y'all for joining us tonight. So the definitive, finite answer from myself and Hakim Green is no. We don't believe that Black History Month should be canceled.
That's right.
We don't agree with it.
That's right.
But we're asking a question. We wanted to know what the chat room thought. We was going to give our opinion. Even in when you see the playback and you want to leave your comments, do not just go based off the title. Watch it and say what we think. Salute to everybody here. Let me just plug a few things real quick. Doggie Dime is No Filter. That is the podcast. It is on SoundCloud and iTunes. I ranked 37th in the world last week. Thanks to you. Thanks to everybody. The numbers could be up, but you know, we working. Also, the Beef and Broccoli show is debuting this week. Has nothing to do with food. New York City, the home of Timberland boots.
Timberlands.
Either construction Timbs or Beef and Broccoli.
Yeah.
Facts. And that's a Brooklyn thing. So we made up the Beef and Broccoli show. That will be debuting this week. I have an interview with OC. Yes, that OC from DITC will be debuting this week. Hakim, what you got going on?
Yeah, Madism Info, Madism.info. You can catch me there. You can catch me at Hakim Green, HAKIMGREEN, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Madism Info, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, and I have a very, very big announcement to make. I can't make the announcement till March 13th, but I have a big announcement. Let's just say the people going to be able to get a chance to see me do a live podcast from a very big venue in Manhattan in April. So I just have to work out my guests who I want to be my first guests, but I'm going to do a live podcast in front of a studio audience. So, and it's in a very big, well-known venue. So y'all going to be able to come out and hang out with me. Matter of fact, I'll give you the venue. It's going to be SOBs. So I'm going to do a live podcast from SOBs in April, May, and June. Wow. So, you know, salute to the people who put me in that position to do that. That's definitely going down. April 9th is the tentative date. So, you know, I said I couldn't make the announcement. Then I was like, fuck it, I couldn't hold that, man. April 9th is the tentative date right now, but we're working on that live podcast. Doggie Dime is No Filter live, and y'all will be able to come in the building and sit with me and bug the fuck out in person in Manhattan and SOBs. So thanks to y'all for the views, for the subscriptions, for everything that y'all been doing to support everything I've been doing. The people in those places are seeing and saying, hey, this dude really do got a following. And people do respect, what's going on. And they said that they like me because I don't hold no punches. And a lot of information that we're putting out on here is the truth.
That's right.
And people need to hear it. So I thank y'all for helping me, and in turn, give y'all back the information. So Hakim, I will holler at you later on. We'll build later on.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Peace,
sir. We
man.
out.